Alright, I printed another one of these, and I want to show real quick, the print is coming to an end here in about 6 minutes. Let's just show the bed temperature, and the nozzle temperature is 210 as usual. This is PLA. The bed temperature is of course 0. Even though this is a heated bed, I found it's not required. I'd rather have a non-heated bed and figure out how to support adhesion, and then I don't have to use a brim, don't have to use a raft. You can see here there's no messy purple glue stick at all to clean up. You can see the mirror is completely reflective all the way around. You can also see that I use the tape, but I use this tape for many more reasons than just adhesion. Seems like people say, okay, we'll use the tape for adhesion, but the reality is I use it for many more reasons, and the adhesion is just a benefit that comes from why I use it. You can see here that this is mirror tile. This is flat mirror tile from a hardware store, cut to size. You can see here that the tape is not covering the whole thing because I'm not printing anywhere out here. So when I tram the bed, I use the paper feeler gauge. In order to tram it properly, you have to tram it on the tape to take into account the thickness of the tape. Once you've trammed it on the corners of the tape, you're done. Start your print. You don't need to do any test prints or circle squares or any of the things that the G codes that people use to test, if their tramming skills are good. Trust your skills. Trust your tramming skills with the paper, okay? Don't use a metal feeler gauge because you can't really get it in there. This is a strip of paper, all right? It's about 2 inches by 6 inches. Let's go ahead and swing that around here. This is all that's needed. This is it, okay? It's not a whole entire sheet of paper. It's not a business card, Use just a simple bit of printer paper, cut it in 2 inch by 6 inch strips, feel it under there, do what the feeler gauge does. It is a paper feeler gauge, okay? You must master it. You must learn the technique. It's not just going to throw the paper under there and call it good like YouTube shows, okay? There is a skill. You can see here, there's no direct drive. I'm printing this with no direct drive. You can see it's not required because it will put the filament onto the table using just the basics, okay? The basics of a Bowden tube, all right? This works. Doesn't need direct drive to do what you see here. It already does this. Direct drive had nothing to do with it. You can see here, that's the plastic extruder. It's not the metal extruder. Even if that arm breaks, do yourself a favor, buy a new arm. It's like $3, 5 minutes, you're back to printing. No calibrations, no eSTEP changes, no gear changes, no stepper changes, no dicking around to get an aftermarket extruder to work. This is what came with the printer. This body, plastic extruder, came with the printer. The arm, if it breaks, just replace it. Again, $3, 5 minutes, you're back to printing for years. Because technically that arm would have never have been installed, never been pre-installed at all. It's new, out of the box. Alright? So, don't take my word for it. Just try it for yourself. Change out that arm, keep the plastic body, see what happens. Alright? Take a gamble. See what happens. Don't risk changing everything here because you're going to have problems. As I have noticed in many, many posts, people just seem to have issues with the metal extruder. You might get lucky, but then again, you might not. Alright, with this, that arm breaks, replace it, you're done. Remove and replace. That's how it's done. This is where the filament's mounted, not up here, because I don't want to have to print any aftermarket arms, levers, gizmos, or pulleys to redirect it, when technically this is virtually straight into the extruder, straight out of the extruder, no friction. Basically this is as good as it gets, down to the hot end, right here, your basic, no frills, nothing added, no aftermarket so-called upgrades. Okay, check here, those are the springs that came with the printer. Right here, it's actually being done. Users tend to change everything because they're told to. Honestly, just build the printer as it was designed at the factory and print. If it's not printing, find out why. Don't blame the printer. The printer mechanics right here is all right here. Figure out what your G code is. Figure out what your table is. Figure out how to tram properly. Those are the things you need to work with. Don't change the machine, because once you've done that, you're adding to all the troubleshooting hassles you're going to run into, and it's just a vicious circle. All right? So if you have it bare minimum down to what you see here, then troubleshooting is simple. You can see no raft, no brim, no need for heat to the bed. All right, right there. So when I actually tram the bed, I don't heat the bed to tram it because I don't heat the bed to print. All right, it's just no dealing with warping or curling or anything like that. You can see here the print's almost done. There it goes, it's done. No curling. You can see it's flat to the bed the entire time. All right, so just do yourself a favor. Make sure that you know how to tram the bed properly, because that is key. Just using the tape means nothing. You need to know how to tram the bed. You need to have a proper work surface, all right? You don't want to use the magnetic bed or the PEI beds or whatever. Just use the mirror. It's flat. Tram it with the mirror and you're golden. So when this print is done, you just remove the mirror, put another mirror in place. Don't disrupt your leveling, because sometimes people remove a print with the spatula and they're prying at it and they're making a big mess out of the leveling that they just got through doing. Okay, they create their own problems. It's called operator error. All right, so there you go. Happy printing and good luck. You know, don't overcomplicate the printing process. That's the name of the game. ABC 1, 2, 3. All right, happy printing.